Hello, everybody. Quarterdeck Arcade here. Sorry for the delay. Little technical difficulties that I had to work through. So I'm here. Today is Sunday, December 10th, and I'm going to call this episode 1 of a show I'm going to call Crossdeck. And for those of you ex-sailors like me, you know what the term crossdeck means. It means requesting permission to go from one ship to the other if they're tied together in port. I think I only did that once in my entire Navy career because I was stationed on an aircraft carrier, and I only had to go to another ship a handful of times. And one of those times I had to actually cross one ship to get to the other. So that's what the term crossdeck means. And I thought I'd name the show that. If I'm going to do this on a regular basis, probably Sunday mornings around this time, 9 a.m. after my workout, I thought, well, I'll call it something, and I called it something that, has a little bit of meaning to me. So good morning. Welcome to the show. If you're watching, I appreciate you tuning in, whether you're doing it live or whether you're watching on a restream. I do appreciate it. And if you like what you see, please hit that like button and subscribe if you aren't already. So my thoughts, I was thinking about what I wanted to do today. And I think what I'll kick the show off with is the modification of my T2 cabinet sitting right behind me. I have a big project ahead of me, a reskinning project. It's no longer going to be a T2 cabinet once I'm done with it. And I'm going to be doing the retro shooter mod to it as well. And I will talk about everything that I purchased to make this come together. And it's taken a while. The T2 I've had for 2 or 3 months now. And it's a good game. I enjoy it. It's not, T2 isn't something that has a whole lot of nostalgia for me, but I know it does for a lot of people. But when the retro shooter mod was announced and the T2 integration kit was announced from Buy Stuff, I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity to get a dedicated shooting cab. And then I decided to take it one step further. I decided to make it a full-on arcade cabinet with guns. So what I wound up doing is going to Buy Stuff arcades. Well, first of all, I got the retro shooter kit, and I went through and was one of the, early adopters of the retro shooter kit. For a while, I had it on my TV upstairs. I enjoyed it. It was fun. And what I get a kick out of is the fact that I can play games like Hogan's Alley and Duck Hunt again. So that's, those games hold a lot of nostalgia for me. So I thought, well, I would love to get a cabinet that's unique in design, and a cabinet that I can play multiple games on, not just shooting games, but control panel games. So anyway, so we started as far as buying stuff. The first thing I bought was the T2 cabinet. And the build went well, and it's as cabinets go, it's a beautiful cabinet, but I don't have a lot of nostalgia for it. So I thought, I'll make it what I want to make it. And I needed a project for this winter, and this is going to be my winter project. So I acquired the T2. I bought it from a local reseller. It was right after Best Buy ran out of T2 cabinets, no longer had them in stock, the 315 deal that they were running for the longest time. And so I thought, well, if I find a deal on Facebook Marketplace, I'll grab it. And this reseller posts stuff on Marketplace every once in a while, and one of the cabinets he posted was T2. And the thing about that was his original ask for it was $400. And I thought, well, I'll throw out 350 because that's probably where I cap it. And I got the cabinet. I got him down to 350. So I picked it up, took it home, built it, and it's a part of the arcade. So I played with it for a while, and I was excited about it. I bought it with the intent of doing the mod eventually. At that point, the mod wasn't out. Buy Stuff was still working on it, and they completed that mod, and I had put my order in, and then they came out a few days later and said, "Hey, we've got artwork for it now. So if you want artwork, go for it." So what I decided to do is order artwork to replace the T2 artwork, and that includes the marquee. So I will be doing something I've only done once since this arcade has come to reality. I've reskinned the At Games Legends pinball because it had some atrocious artwork on it. I don't even remember what the artwork was. All I know, it was just a multicolored mess of stuff. So I'll show you a quick picture of what I did there. Oh, that's not what I wanted to start with. So here is the one reskin I did so far. And I basically ordered this vinyl artwork from Buy Stuff Arcades. And that included these, that included the side panels that you see on the side of the back box. They came with the Metallica artwork already applied, but the artwork that I had to put on are the sides and the front. And let me tell you, that applying the decal to the front was a bear, because you got to take out all the buttons on the front. You got to take out their coin door, and then you got to apply the artwork and put it all back. So that was a challenge. I got through it. But what I'm glad I did is when I ordered the replacement artwork from Buy Stuff, they give you the option during ordering to buy a spare. I think it's just an extra $10. I could be wrong about that. To buy a spare front panel. And I'm so glad I did that, because I messed this up big time the first time around. I really did. So I had that backup piece to go to, and with the lessons I learned from the first application, I was able to get it on and got it buttoned back up, all the buttons back in. And it's a beautiful looking pinball. I don't know if I'll ever part with this. It's got some special meaning to both me and my gal. My gal loves Metallica. So this was my first skin job, and it was a challenge, but once you get the technique down, and I watched a lot of videos on applying vinyl artwork, and I think I got the procedure down. So I'm going to take some of the things I learned by doing this pinball into modding the T2. So I did post some pictures of the artwork on my channel the other day. If you don't already know, I'm going to be replacing the T2 artwork with Space Invaders. And people, I've gotten questions already. Why did you pick Space Invaders? Well, it's one of the first games I ever played. Well, Pong was the first game I played in the arcade, but Space Invaders was probably the second. That game holds a lot of nostalgia for me. I have memories of playing that game at General Cinema, Eastgate Consumer Mall, in Indianapolis, many times when I went to see a movie, because it was in the lobby. And so I always went there early so I could get a couple of games of Space Invaders in. So yeah, Space Invaders has some nostalgia for me. So people said, well, why didn't you just buy a Space Invaders cabinet? Well, I can't find one. There was one here locally that had some awesome artwork done to it, but it hit Marketplace the same time I had already bought the T2, and I already bought the retro shooter, and then I was on my way to buying the buy stuff, and I had to make a decision. Do I go full bore on the mod that I wanted to do, or do I grab that off marketplace? It was for a reasonable price with the artwork and mods it had done to it. He was asking for 300. I should have just grabbed it, even though I was doing this, going forward with this mod. So, yeah, I would have liked to have gotten a Space Invaders cabinet, but I think going this route, given that I don't hold too much nostalgia for T2, will be better. And I'll show you what the cabinet will eventually look like, because I stole this photo off of Buy Stuff. There it is. So this is what the cabinet, the T2 reskinned cabinet, will look like. The only difference being in the with what you see here, as opposed to what I will have, is that I have the full control panel replacement. In other words, a 2-player, 6-button each deck. And I think they call it the ultimate deck. And we can go to their website and look at some of their options for this mod. But what I've ordered for this cabinet is a complete artwork replacement. And I bought the ultimate control panel. I bought a 19-inch monitor replacement. Now, the nice thing there is that the monitor replacement comes pre-assembled and the artwork is already applied. So I had to go back to Buy Stuff and say, hey, I want to get the artwork replacement. Can you combine the orders? They had asked people, if you want the artwork, email us. We'll combine the orders into one and you'll get everything at once. And that's what I had to do. But the 19-inch monitor already has the Space Invaders artwork applied. I posted a photo of that also to my channel earlier this past week. So full control panel, 19-inch monitor replacement, and I've got the kit to basically redo the wiring and get everything put together. I've got I also got the gun holsters. You see one, you can kind of see one there just below the Invader, in between the Invader on the side panel and the Space Invaders on the kick plate. You can see one of the holsters mounted there. That's probably where I'll mount mine as well, the same place they mounted theirs. But on their picture from their website, they have the pedal holsters on the riser panel. I don't know if I want to do that. I watched PD7's video about his T2 mod, and he put them on the back, and I kind of like that idea. So I'm probably going to put the pedals on the back like he did. So, but anyway, that's what the cabinet looks like. I am cramped for space in here now, like you wouldn't believe. Well, you may believe, because a lot of people in my situation, there's a lot of people. I'm running out of room. I have room. If I took out that TV over there, which is just basically playing a fireplace right now, if I took out that TV, I have room for 2 more cabinets, maybe 3, depending on what footprint I got. And maybe 1 next to this T2 on the end. But I'm out of room. My builds are going to have to start taking place outside of the arcade room, because I just don't. I did my last build. I did a build of the Class of '81 cabinet the other day, and that was just a challenge to get it built in this little tiny area here. Used to have room for a full table. That's where the builds normally take place. But this T2 mod is going to be probably a 2-table endeavor. I'm going to have all of the stuff. You can see it behind me. You can see the table. I currently have the artwork flattened out on the table. I've got stuff on top of it to weigh it down and get the artwork nice and flat. because it came in a rolled up container and mailing container. So I've got all of the mods laid out for the T2, but I need workspace to actually do the artwork application. So that's probably going to happen on a table just outside of the arcade. And any video that I shoot, and I will shoot video of my progress as I move through this reskinning and integration kit installation. I will be doing videos on that, but I will shoot the video and it'll be outside the arcade. So you'll notice a difference. It won't look like my arcade, but anyway, right now in that area, I've got a bunch of boxes. I've got 3 arcade 1-up boxes that I have to break down and put in recycling this week. So I'm going to get the area prepped. That's what I need to do. And clear the area out, set up a table, figure out my lighting, and then I'll proceed from there. As far as how I'm going to proceed with this, I've told a few people privately about this. This is going to take me time. And the reason is because I'm a busy guy. The reason why I'm here with you now is Sunday mornings are my best shot at getting things done in the arcade. So that's usually when I do my arcade stuff. I did sneak the Class of 81 build in Thursday night. I think it was Thursday. I can't remember. It was last week sometime. And I don't know how I did that, but I got off. Yeah, it was Thursday. I got off work. Thursday is a work from home day for me. So got off work, ran immediately down here. I knew a build would take me roughly from an hour and a half to 2 hours. And I had just that much time before dinner hit. So, and I almost finished. I still had a few finishing touches before the dinner call came, and that was it. My night was over. But I am a busy guy. My schedule every day, I work from 7 to 3:45 every day. I come home from work if I'm on site. Usually takes me an hour commute both ways. So 1 hour there, 1 hour back. So that's another 2 hours out of my day right there. And then we eat dinner and then we just go to bed. And I'll tell you why. I go to bed early. I go to bed really early. The reason why I go to bed early is because I get up at 2 a.m. to work out. And that's just religious for me. I have to get up at 2 a.m. That's my schedule. So there's very few moments during the week that I can actually get down here and do stuff in the arcade. When I work from home on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I fire up the arcade, and then on breaks, I come down here and I play a game or two. So that the arcade gets used during the week. It just, it's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm usually the arcade shut down, and I never make it down here. So, so this mod is going to take me some time. Weekends I'm going to try and get down here and I'm going to try and do this one piece at a time. So this mod is going to go in stages. It's going to be, it's going to start with disassembly. I've got to take the cabinet partially apart. So I'll take it off the riser, set the riser aside. And then what I'll probably do after I disconnect everything is I'll probably start with applying the artwork to the riser. Easy peasy. I'm not going to take the riser apart. I'm just going to slap the artwork on it and be done with it. And so that'll be part 1. Then part 2 will be to start doing the artwork on the main arcade unit. So I will take off one side panel, and then I will take out the kick plate, and I will take out the marquee, and then I will do a reskin on each one of those components. So partial disassembly, I'm not going to take out all of the supporting K boards and P boards and all of that. I'm going to leave it assembled partially, and then do the artwork on the one side that I have, the piece that I have off, the kick panel and the marquee. Once that's done, I'm going to move to replacing the monitor. So I will take out the original Arcade 1-Up. At that point, I'm gutting the machine. I'm taking out the control panel. I'm taking out. Actually, you got to take the control panel out before you take the side panel off. So that'll happen earlier. But I'll take out all the Arcade 1-Up components. I'll take out the control panel will already be out. I'll take out the monitor, and I'll basically set that stuff aside because it's really useless now. I could probably sell it on Marketplace because it's a working working PCB board, and it's a working control panel and working guns. So all that stuff's going to be ripped out. And then I'll put the 19-inch monitor upgrade, which if you've watched their videos, the 19-inch monitor lines up perfectly with the white mounting brackets. So all you got to do is just drop it in, screw it into the brackets, and you're done with the mount. After I get that 19-inch monitor in, I will probably, I thought about this. I'll put the kick plate back in with the new artwork, and then I'll put the side panel back on or put the marquee in and then the side panel. I'll basically put the unit back together with the pieces it has. And before I drop the buy stuff control panel in, I will flip the cabinet over, partially assembled, and then do the artwork on the other side panel. So that should complete the artwork replacement for this cabinet. And then I can get into the meat of the actual integration kit, throwing the arcade or the buy stuff arcades control panel in, and then moving to the back where all the fun begins, adding all of the components. Now I'll be using as my guide guys like P-Dubs. He did a T2 integration mod. He kept with the stock control panel, and I'll use PD7's video as a guide too, as far as wiring is concerned. Now, these wiring kits that come with this integration kit, they're really well done. They're labeled. Everything's labeled, so you know what goes where, which is good for me. I could probably figure it out on my own, but without the labeling. But I love when things are easy. Let me get a drink of water. Live TV, right? I love this cup. This is my if you grew up when I grew up in the early 70s and then became an 80s teenager. But this was my show back in the day. You know what this is from? The show Emergency. And if you haven't ever seen Emergency, yeah, it's early 70s TV, but it holds up really well nowadays. So my favorite show growing up, we always used to play on the streets. We used to play Station 51, KMG 365, that kind of thing. But yeah. So the last step of the mod will be definitely all of the wiring, getting the wiring right, getting the new guns in, getting the holsters in and the pedal holders in, running the wires. I'll probably follow PD7 method of running the wires under the arcade cabinet on top of the riser, and then back through the back. But and then I should be done. So cross your fingers that this artwork application goes well. I did go to the hardware store and buy some materials. Some of the materials that I used in my first, that Metallica reskinning, was painter's tape. And I bought a, it's not really, it's kind of a plastic putty knife, but I use that to smooth the vinyl out as you go so that you get the air bubbles out. And what I suggest for anybody that's even contemplating this is, and you order artwork and you've never done it before, is you watch YouTube videos on how to do this. There's many out there. I don't have a favorite. I think, I can't think of his channel off the top of my head. There was one video where a guy replaced the Space Invaders, or applied Space Invaders art to a riser. And his technique, and then combined with BuyStuff's video on pinball artwork application, solidified the method, really. And that's basically, you tape down the artwork in the position you expect it to go. You know, line it up as best you can. There might be some overlap that you might have to take off later with a X-Acto knife. Could be, depends on the artwork. But get it lined up as best as you can and where you plan on applying it, and then tape it down with the painter's tape. Painter's tape is great because it doesn't leave any residue behind after you lift it. And you can move it around if you need to. And it makes the process of applying artwork simple. What I'll probably do is tape it down the middle. Then I'll peel off the backing for the first half, probably the top half of the artwork. And then I'll cut off the paper backing. And then you just, starting above the painter's tape, you just start guiding. I'm doing this with my hand on the desk. I don't know why. You just start guiding the vinyl artwork into place, just making sure, going slow. I highly recommend you go slow, and then guiding it so that there's no air bubbles. And sometimes air bubbles will occur, and don't, be careful about pulling the artwork back up. It depends on the artwork, but you might ruin it doing that. So if there's a little air bubble in there, try to work the air bubble out before you go any further. And then keep at it until you're done with that one side. And then once you're done with that one side, then you take off the painter's tape, and then you repeat the process in reverse. You peel the backing off of the artwork, you cut it away, or actually, in this instance, after you take off the painter's tape, the cut end of the backing should be exposed. So you just peel it until you get the backing off. And then same process, slowly work the vinyl artwork into place. I don't plan on stripping the existing artwork. I plan on overlaying all of this artwork on top of the T2 stuff. I don't see why there would be a problem. The reason is because I tried to do that with the pinball, and it was disastrous. I started ripping more than just artwork off of that, and I don't want to get into that. I think just applying this artwork over the top should be fine. But anyway, that's a discussion of my mod. If we go to BuyStuff Arcade's website, make this full screen. So BuyStuff, I'll walk you through it. If you go to their website and you don't exactly know where to go to the Arcade 1-Up link, and then right here, T2 Retro Shooter Integration Kit. in the center of the screen there. Click on that. And there you have it. The Retro Shooter kit, you have to buy separately from Retro Shooter's website. So, so make sure you get what you need here before thinking about getting the Buy Stuff Arcades T2 integration kit. So they have some videos out here of people. I think even PD7's video is linked up here. Yes, it is. It's right here. They have some videos linked up about this mod, about it in action and everything. I suggest you watch them. They have a frequently asked questions. And then walking through your upgrade choices is pretty straightforward. So you have 3 types of deck upgrades. You can get this integration, excuse me, you can get this integration kit with the stock deck and use it with the stock deck, which the T2 existing deck. Or you can get the selector deck, which has, I think it has some additional buttons, and the holsters are actually in the deck still, like the stock deck. And then you can get the ultimate deck, which is what I got. And you can see it's not cheap. But I figure if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to make this cabinet my own, I'm going to go all out, which is what I did. I think it was a little cheaper when you did pre-orders. Don't quote me on that. I'd have to go back and look at my order. But so we'll go ahead and we'll select. This is what the ultimate deck looks like. Let's go back and look at the selector deck. This is the selector deck. So you've got a joystick and you've got a few more buttons than what the original T2 panel had. And then you've got your Retro Shooter guns with holsters. Then the stock deck, of course, just looks like the original stock deck. But looking at the ultimate deck, this is what I got. And you notice you can't put the guns up here anymore. So that's why they have the holsters that you can mount on the side. So, yeah, basic 6-button and then joystick configuration. You've got a player 1 and a player 2 start. And I can't remember what this button is for. So that's the ultimate deck. We scroll down here after we've chosen our deck. We go to accessories. And here's where you choose whether or not you want pedal holders. These are the pedal holders. They have 1 screw hole, and they're basically V-shaped. And then they'll hold the pedals, you know, when you're not using them. The other option here under accessories is the retro console holder. I actually ordered this as well because I like to keep everything nice and neat. I'm in IT. I like organized wiring. It's kind of a nitpicky item for me. So even if I finish up a cabinet mod, I'll still go back and play with it for a while. I'll still go back and make sure the wiring's all tucked in nice and neat because it just trips my trigger if I if I leave the wiring all over the place. But this box aids in that because the Retro Shooter box is like a square device that will fit inside this bracket. So moving on, you have the option of going for standard buttons, which are non-LED. They're regular arcade buttons. Or you can get LED buttons, and this will probably raise the hair on several in the community, because I know several of you do not like LED buttons, but guess what? I do. And you're probably surprised because I'm such an older arcade person. You know, I mean, my era was Space Invaders. So people are probably surprised at the fact that I would go for LED buttons, but I think it'll look cool. And if you see my control, I don't have it. I put the control panel, the retro or the Buy Stuff control panel back in the box because I wanted to keep it safe. But if you look at the buttons, and I have a picture in an earlier community post on this channel, if you look at those buttons, I think it's going to look pretty sharp. And I can't wait to get it all put together. So I went with the LED buttons. You, of course, can do whatever your little heart desires. Anyway. So, and then we come to the screen upgrade. Now, you can keep the stock Arcade 1-Up monitor, but if you're going to do the integration kit and you watch the videos, part of that is getting the sensors installed. There's a few ways you can do that. You can try and run the wires down through the top, or you drill holes and then run the wires for the sensors through those holes in the bezel. And I just do not want to mess with that. I probably would have been okay with a 17-inch monitor. I'm not somebody where size does not matter to me, really. So I think I went with I think the primary reason I went with a 19-inch monitor replacement was because I didn't want to have to deal with drilling or anything. I wanted those puppies pre-installed. And with the 19-inch upgrade, you get 4 sensors now. If you order now, because Retro Shooter changed their kits to 4 sensors from 2, Buy Stuff's kit is going to come out with 4 sensors, and they're pre-installed. All you got to do is wire it up. So I'm a guy that likes it easy. I like, I'll hire somebody to do something because I just don't want to mess with it. And this is kind of what I did in this case. I hired Buy Stuff to do this for me because, make it as simple as possible, right? So yes, 19-inch screen upgrade. And if you keep the T2 artwork, this is what it'll look like. I, of course, did the Space Invaders artwork, and God bless them, Buy Stuff puts that artwork on their bezel already for you. I give a lot of credit to Buy Stuff. They've come out with a lot of good things over the last couple of years. And I'm sure they've been in business longer than that, but I only found them a couple of years ago. But I'm a big fan of Buy Stuff arcades and their products. And I highly recommend, if you're considering modding, check out their website because they have good stuff. And it's quality stuff too. I have the Ridge Racer mod over there. I love it. It's perfect for me. I don't need another racing cabinet. And what I would like to do to that cabinet is make it into a sit-down cabinet. So that's one of my goals, is to go back to Buy Stuff and say, okay, I want the parts and pieces to make it a sit-down cabinet. So that's the future planning. But yeah, so they'll do the artwork for you. If you order a replacement control panel and a replacement monitor, they'll put the artwork on for you, pre-installed for that. So you don't have to mess with my control panel has the Space Invaders artwork on it already. Don't have to worry about it. Same here with the monitor. So if you're a tall guy and you want to add on to the order of 4-inch or a 6-inch riser booster, you can do that. What I'm not sure about is if you get, it says here, complete the basic assembly, add the graphics, simply drop your existing riser securely. If you want to get matching artwork, I don't know if they'll do that with the booster. You might want to check with them. If they watch this video, if they could comment on that, whether or not if you replace the artwork, it extends to any riser booster you might order. I didn't order one because I'm a short guy. Monitor's perfect height for me. I don't need one. So I did buy one for the Ridge Racer though, because I wanted the wheel up higher. And because the Ridge Racer, it was black and it's a black and red design anyway. The plain black riser booster was fine for that. So I'll skip this because I'm a short guy and I don't need it. And then we get to the artwork portion. Okay. And yes, the artwork replacement is expensive, but you're doing a total replacement. You're doing the side panels, you're doing the kick plate, you're doing the riser side panels and the front panel, and you're doing the marquee. So, but you don't have to replace the control panel and the bezel because that's done for you by them. So you have several choices here. Area 51, Carnival, House of the Dead, Jurassic Park. You can make it into a multicade scheme. You can put point blank artwork on there, Space Invaders, and Time Crisis. We can look at each one. So here's what the Area 51 artwork looks like. And I have no nostalgia whatsoever for Area 51. Some of you out there might. And if you do, God bless you, go for it. I do like the red on this. It's kind of pops out. And I on a brief side note, I bought the Yoga Flame specifically because I needed a red cabinet in my arcade. I'm not a fighter guy. I don't play fighting games, but actually I sat down at it the other day. I've only had it a couple of weeks. I sat down at it and I had a blast. I'm no good at it, but I needed a red cabinet in my arcade. So yeah. So that's the Area 51 artwork. And let's look at the Carnival. Again, no nostalgia for this. I don't think I ever played the game. I don't think I ever played Area 51. It is a cool looking cabinet though. The clown kind of freaks me out. But I mean, if you're a fan of this game, this artwork, I would think would stand out to you, and it might be something you might consider. House of the Dead. I know House of the Dead is known by a lot of people because I hear it discussed all the time when the Retro Shooter arcade is mentioned. And House of the Dead is one of the games. I believe one of the versions of House of the Dead is on, or one or two of the versions of House of the Dead are on the Retro Shooter kit. So this is kind of cool artwork. I did play House of the Dead when I had a Retro Shooter connected to my TV, and I thought it was fun. I really liked it, but I didn't want this artwork. So again, it's a personal preference, whatever your choice is. Next on the list, Jurassic Park. And I believe this is the new movies schemes because you got the new characters on the side panel there. But Jurassic Park, again, one of the games that's on the Retro Shooter kit. If you're into that game and that game holds a lot of nostalgia for you, I like this artwork. For me, though, to jump on artwork like this, I probably would have want the original characters on it. Maybe they are. Maybe they are on the other panel. They don't put the other side on there. They'll probably be the same characters. And here's your multicade skin. And they kind of threw, it's a mishmash of all of the artwork thrown together if you look at it. You got a little bit of Carnival, T2, Point Blank, Time Crisis. Just a hodgepodge of art just to make it into a multicade shooter. So again, not something I was interested in. Then you have the Point Blank artwork. A fun game. I've played it. Just not a lot of nostalgia for it. And the artwork, I actually don't like this artwork, but you might. Then we'll move down to Time Crisis. This is the Time Crisis artwork. So good morning, Gotham. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. So let's say you're not a fan of the Time Crisis cab that's currently on the market. And the only way I'd be interested, I said this in one of the Facebook groups the other day, says if it comes down to $199, I might grab it, but I'm not interested in it. I like the game. I love the game. I play it. I love it. I enjoy it. I don't need that artwork. A red cabinet, though, and I said earlier, a Yoga Flame, I added that because I wanted a red cabinet. Red's one of my favorite colors. And then, the Space Invaders art. And I said it earlier, just of all the artwork they have available on their shop, this is the one that spoke to me. And because for the reasons I mentioned, I have a lot of nostalgia. I fed tons of quarters into that game back in the day. And I wanted a Space Invaders themed cabinet. And I'm going all out on it. So I would love it if you guys joined me on the journey. I might post some either photo updates or short videos on the progress, but my goal in documenting all of this is to just take video of what I need for a later full-on video of the actual process. So I'll basically, go from deconstruction and gutting to gameplay after I'm done. So that's my plan. I'm not a videographer. I'll do my best. There's YouTubers out there that are way more talented than I am at this. So, yeah, Gotham. I mentioned. I walked through all that. Yes, I'm changing the artwork. I'm changing it to Space Invaders. What I have considered, and I just saw this morning in one of the Facebook groups, someone posted about a non-working T2 cabinet for free. If something like that passes my way or crosses my path on Facebook Marketplace here locally, I might grab it and go back to having a T2 in the arcade. And the reason why is because I'm basically gutting this existing cabinet. I'm taking out the monitor. I'm taking out the control panel. Everything's coming out. The PCB's coming out. So let's say a deal for a free T2 cabinet hits Marketplace. All I need to do, and if it's non-working, whatever, I don't care. Throw my components in and I'm done. Instant T2 cabinet. That is, of course, unless I sell my T2 components, which could entirely happen. So that's basically it. I didn't have much. Everything else is basically just random stuff I want to talk about. I want to keep this to an hour. I don't want to go over an hour. I actually wanted to keep it to 30 minutes, but realized I got a little winded. Let's see. What can I pull up here? Okay. So yeah, I had my phone set up and I had the phone aimed at the T2 cabinet. Like I said, fun game. Just have more nostalgia for the Space Invaders. So I'll have a Space Invader shooter before it's all said and done. Let's see. So I guess in the remaining moments of this show, we can talk about deals and what you might have taken advantage of and what I took advantage of. I will tell you, compared to last year, this has not been a year of buying stuff. Most of my stuff has been mods and mod related stuff. I got lucky on Marketplace. You've seen it on this channel. I got lucky with a Burger Time, although I got later unlucky when I unboxed it and discovered it had damage on the side panel, which, talk about having cabinets show up on Marketplace. If another Burger Time shows up for cheap, which ain't going to happen, but if it did, I'm buying that thing just to get a side panel that's good. Then I'll probably put the bad one on one and try to sell it for cheap. But it's together. The Burger Time's together. You can't see it because it's on the other side of the middle row here of cabinets. I'm kind of keeping the 80s stuff on that side of the arcade. But I picked up the Burger Time for $600, and that was unexpected. It popped into Marketplace, and you know how these things with Marketplace go. A deal just comes along, you figure you got to jump on. I jumped on it without hesitation, and because it was an hour away from me, an hour drive, and picked it up from a guy who just lost his mother, was looking to raise some cash, and he knew the box had been dinged up, but he didn't know how bad the damage was because he'd never opened the box. And so I could have probably talked him down, but I felt bad for him. And I did verify later that he lost his mom, and I feel bad for him. He seemed really broken up about it. So, yeah, so that cabinet is together. It's working. I love it. I love Karate Champ. So, again, 2 games, Burger Time and Karate Champ. The other Black Friday purchase I made, moving on to Black Friday, I only made 2 purchases. I bought that Yoga Flame right there, which I love. I'm actually having a great time with that. Like I said, I'm not a fighter guy. I suck at it. But I sat there for like an hour and a half the other day and was just going through the games. And I was having a blast with it. I'm trying to find somebody to play with me online. If you ever see Mr. Fourth Place on, that's my online name on Yoga Flame. It's my online name in any of these games, and I don't like it. But a lot of the cabinets I have to change the name. Like if you get more than one Pac-Man related game, you can't use the same username in live. So I tack on the cabinet model on the end of my username. So you'll see Mr. Fourth Place -81 for a class of 81. And that was my second Black Friday purchase, was class of 81 Deluxe. And I love that. Yeah, I talked about in one of my intro videos about why I was named Mr. Fourth Place. That's my nickname. I'm very into physical fitness. I work out every day. I talked about that earlier. I get up at 2 a.m. and I work out. But I run races. I ran one last night. I ran a Christmas-themed race through Christmas lights in a park. And the team I used to be affiliated with, I used to finish, at races, they have age groups, and then they award the top 3 in each age group. So if you're in first place, second place, or third place amongst your age group, you get an award, a ribbon with a medal on the end of it. Well, the running theme was I would run these races and I would always finish in 4th place outside of the medals. I would never get a medal. That's not always the case. I got lucky last night because nobody else in my age group showed up. There was one guy, and I decided to fun run it. So I was slower than normal, and he was 10 minutes faster per mile than me. Did I say that right? No, he was 10 minutes overall time-wise, faster than me. But I finished second because I was the last guy there in my age group. So the Mr. Fourth Place, I didn't name myself Mr. Fourth Place. That was given to me by my team because I was so unlucky when it came to winning a medal at a race. My license plate on my Jeep says Mr. Fourth. So I've embraced it. I've embraced this concept that I'll never win a medal, because if you set yourself up like that, then you're not disappointed when it happens. And so when I do get a medal, it's extra special for me. I'm currently in the 55 to 59 age bracket or age group when I run races. And a couple of years, I'll be in the 60 to 64 age bracket. And my odds at getting a medal improve as the older I get, trust me. And I know he's 85 now. I know a fellow Navy vet who's 85, and he shows up some of these races. And let me tell you, that guy is mobile. Going back to your earlier question, Gotham, the Fast and Furious cab for $399. That's tempting for me, but I already have a driving cabinet with the Buy Stuff Arcades mod on it, and that satisfies my need to have a driving cab. And you know, if the Fast and the Furious went down to like $199, I'd be all over it in a heartbeat, because it's another cabinet I can put in here, and that would go next to the Terminator or the reskinned Space Invaders eventually on the end of my arcade, because games that involve you needing more space, like shooter game or a driving game, I need to put on the end here so that there's room for the player to move around. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever get to 100,000 subs. I'm not that good at this, you know. I stumbled earlier because I tried to make a scheduled event. I screwed it up somehow. I got to figure that out. And I'm IT. I'm supposed to know all this stuff, right? But yeah, 100,000 subs. I'll never get there. I'll be giddy if I get to 500 eventually, you know. But I'm not looking to monetize. I'm not looking to usurp or, you know, one up to be funny. I'm not looking to compete with any existing YouTubers, because they're great at what they do. And I love following them. I watch believe it or not, when I'm working out with weights, I'm watching one of their podcasts. This morning, I watched the Friday episode of Game Room Dudes. And I watched PD7's latest update video. So that's what I do when I work out. I don't watch stuff when I'm running, because I do Peloton workouts for that. But yeah. Other stuff going on in the arcade. I have Glenn's Build-A-Cade. I'm ready to go with that. At some point I need to sit down, and that'll be another winter thing. Put that Build-A-Cade together. I bought all the control panels with it. I even bought artwork for it. I bought Donkey Kong artwork for it. So it'll be nice to have a 1/6 scale arcade in a theme that I actually love, which is Donkey Kong. I have a lot of nostalgia for Donkey Kong. Arcade 1-Up ever gets that license from Nintendo, which will never happen, but if it does, that's a day one purchase. If that Donkey Kong was $6.99, you guarantee it, I'm buying it. Because the game just has a lot of nostalgia. So the thing that scares me is this rumored Robotron Smash TV cabinet. If that thing comes skinned as Smash TV, I may just stick with my playing it on my Legends Ultimate, because the artwork means everything to me. really. And if it's something that pops for me, if the artwork is something I'm looking for, yeah. So, anywho. Yeah, I agree with you, Gotham. I think everybody Donkey Kong would be a day one purchase. Now, what would be fascinating is, let's say Arcade One Up does get the license, and they're looking to put multiple games on it. Are they going to make one Donkey Kong skinned cabinet and have Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong 3 on it, and that be the cabinet? Day one purchase for me. If they were smart, they'd hold Donkey Kong 2 off, and just throw other Nintendo games on each cabinet, because then they would, that's the way for them to make more money. But that would be my dream cabinet, is if those 3 games came on a Donkey Kong skinned cabinet. Yeah. Well, guys, let's see. It's over an hour now, and that's all I really wanted to do, because my sweetheart's back home. She also goes to the gym, and we're looking at doing stuff today. So I do want to get some boxes cut up and get my area prepped for the T2 mod, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. So I don't have much else to discuss. Arcade One Up is sending me a new side panel for that Pac-Man XL. I'm shocked. I've had an open ticket. I opened a ticket the day I unboxed that thing, because I unboxed it and there's a huge gash on that side panel that you see on the XL. So I put a ticket in, and of course they said, well, cosmetic damage. You know what they're saying now to people. They've kind of taken a different tone. It used to be you can go with them and ask for a replacement part, and they just ship it to you free. That's no more. This one they are shipping to me for free, because I put up a fight. I said, I've bought several cabinets from you. I'm a regular customer. I love what you do. But I'll tell you, if I don't get a side panel without that gash on it, that might inform my purchasing decisions later. And that did the trick. She said, well, we don't have any of those in stock right now, but when one does, we'll ship it to you. And I got to ship it. And that was like, I don't know. I've had that for like 2 months now. So 2 months ago, and and I just got a shipping notice like 3 days ago that it was on its way. It should be here next week sometime. So that's another project for the winter. I got to pull that XL out, drop it on its side, and take off that bad panel, put on the good one. Then I'll have a side panel with a gash in it. That anybody want one? I don't know. I might hang it, just because of the artwork. Be a nice conversation piece. What else? I don't really have anything else. I'm dipping my toe into the 1/6 and 1/4 scale arcades. I have a Dig Dug over here, which I shot a live video unboxing the other day about. Love that. I absolutely love that thing. I'm a big fan of 1/4 scale arcades now. And I do want that Space Invaders one that they have, but it's not in my budget right now. So I have a couple of the 1/6 scale New Wave toys. I've got the Space Ace and the Dragon's Lair, but I have not unboxed them yet. I want to find a permanent location for them within this arcade. I'm probably going to have to put a shelf up for it. Anyways, I think I'm going to drop out now, guys. It's been an hour and almost 5 minutes now. But I appreciate anybody who jumped in live, and I appreciate all of you who will watch this on a rebroadcast. And thanks for joining me. If you like what you've seen, please hit the like button, and then also subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'd really appreciate it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a good week.